Seeing how God can use branding to glorify Him is honestly what gave me such a passion for creating visual identities for businesses. Friends, have you ever felt like God was nudging you to do something, but it feels so far out of your comfort zone that you want to run the other way? Well, you're not alone. Welcome to the Her Brand, Her Calling podcast, and I'm so glad you're here. This is a space for Christian women like you who want to build something that honors God, a ministry, a faith-led business, a brand that points people back to Him. We're here to talk about the messy parts, the obedience parts, the trust parts, as we dig into branding, business, and faith, so you can build with purpose and boldness, even if you feel unqualified. So grab a cup of coffee, settle in, and let's grow together. Hey friends, welcome back to Her Brand, Her Calling podcast. So today we're diving into a big, important question I'm sure many have asked. Should a faith-led business really invest in branding? The answer is simply heck yes. Absolutely, definitive, absolutamente. Just yes, 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 in all the languages, yes. And I get why we ask that. Isn't branding just something the world obsesses over? I mean, as Christians, if we trust God, can't we just put our message out there and hope it lands with the right people? I mean, yes, God is the God of impossible, but He's given us resources that we can use to help get our businesses to the next level. I mean, if you get a guy who's building a house, he's going to employ contractors who know how to do flooring or painting or the ceiling work or electrician. There's all of these resources that work together to help, get the house built. So if you've ever thought that it's not necessary, you're not alone. But I want to show you today that branding isn't just about looking good. It's about building something meaningful, something God can use, something with clarity and intention and purpose. Let's just imagine something for a second. Imagine God created us, but only as a heart, just the heart. No arms, no muscles, no legs, no brains. Can you picture it? All these little heart muscles just jumping and bouncing around the world. I mean, that wouldn't work, right? Because to live and function, we need more than just a heart. We need the full body, the systems and parts that support one another. We need structure, movement, thinking, feeling, expressing. We need a brain to think, a voice to speak, or even to sign if that's how we communicate. Every part of the body matters and works together to help us live fully. And here's the beautiful thing. God created each one of us so uniquely. My friend, you are so unique. We need to express ourselves differently. Some of us speak with our voices, others with our hands. Some experience the world through sound, while others through touch or visuals. And every single way is just as valuable. This, my friend, is how we need to think about our business ministries too. Your logo might be the heart. Let's look at it. Your logo is the heart, and your brand is the whole body. It's the way you show up. It's the way you move in purpose. It's the way you communicate, whether that's bold and vibrant or maybe gentle and thoughtful. Your brand is how people experience the calling of God and that He has placed upon your life, even before they ever worked with you or supported your ministry. A lot of people think branding is just a logo. Maybe some fonts and a color palette, and yes, those things absolutely matter. I love good visuals, but branding is just so much more than that. Okay, let's just stop for it. I want to play a little game, okay? Just for fun, but also it kind of makes a point, but just for fun. Let's go for this, okay? So I want you to close your eyes for a second. Unless you're driving, please do not close your eyes. Keep them on the road. But whether you are, wherever you are, just take a moment and hear me out, okay? So I'm going to say a color. And I want you to notice the first thing that pops in your mind, a feeling or something you see, an object, and how it makes you feel. It could even be a memory, just notice what comes up. Okay, so ready. Here we go. Blue, maybe the ocean, calm skies, peace. Green, did you think of the trees, growth, freshness, maybe even money? Yellow, sunshine, joy, warmth, something bright and happy. Red, did you see fire, love, passion? Maybe something bold and energetic. And if perhaps you see blood and gory images, please, my friend, do book a free one-on-one call with me. We can have some prayer time. No, I'm just joking. Okay. Now open your eyes. How cool is that? If we mention a color, it gives us some kind of feeling, right? And here's the point. Your brand colors, they matter. And they're not just pretty choices. They carry a feeling, a message. There's actually a general rule called color psychology that many designers will follow. And it's basically the idea that certain colors trigger specific emotions or associations in most people. So even though your personal memory might be different, colors generally carry certain meanings, right? So like blue is usually, it communicates trust, calm, professionalism. Green often associates with growth, health, eco-friendly. Yellow brings happiness and joy, but in the wrong setting can also feel very overwhelming. So red is bold, passion, urgency, confidence. Sometimes it could even mean danger. So as a brand, we get to use our colors on purpose. It's not just picking one that looks nice. We're choosing colors that say something, that support our message, that help people feel something when they encounter us before we even speak a word. And that's why your visual identity matters. Your colors, your fonts, your imagery, they're not just a decoration. They're tools to communicate what your brand stands for. And when chosen intentionally, they help your audience feel what you're all about before they even read a word. Branding is your message. It's what people feel when they come across your business or your ministry. It's the tone in your voice, the style of your visuals, the words you use, the consistency on how you show up. It's the story you tell, whether you're telling it intentionally or not. And as a Christian business owner, your story should reflect your values, your faith, and your purpose. Let's anchor this in God's word for a second, right? In 1 Corinthians 14:33, it says, "For God is not a God of disorder, but of peace." And that applies to your business too. We serve a God of order, not chaos or confusion. So when we show up with a muddled message, unclear visuals, or no direction, we're not reflecting the nature of the God who called us. Another one I love is Habakkuk 2:2, where it says, "Write the vision and make it plain on tablets, so he who may run who reads it." Branding is about writing the vision. It's making it plain, making it easy to understand, easy to run with. That applies to clients, churches, members, donors, business partners. People need clarity, and that's what branding gives them, my friends. So that's why I've created a free brand guidelines questionnaire. Remember last week I mentioned I'm giving away a freebie, so yes. And this will help you get started. I encourage you to really just schedule a meeting with God as your CEO. Seriously, sit down with your notebook or your laptop, make a cuppa, put on some worship and say, right, God, what is the vision? Who am I speaking to? What do you want this brand to carry? And then just sit. And I know it's so hard in our busy lives. I do it sometimes. We say our prayers and then we're rushing out the door. Okay, check you later, God. But remember, we have a two-way relationship with God. And He wants to speak to us. He wants to partner with you in this business or your ministry. So give Him that space to speak. And I want to share another beautiful scripture with you that I just love. And it's in Exodus 31. Verse 1-5, God says, "See, I have called by name Bezalel, and I have filled him with the Spirit of God, with ability and intelligence, with knowledge and all craftsmanship, to devise artistic design." Isn't that amazing, though? God directly inspired Bezalel to create beautiful artistic designs for the tabernacle. Design, creativity, beauty, my friends, are gifts from God. It's not fluff. It's not shallow. God gave him the ability, the intelligence, and knowledge, and creativity. And that's just what I want for you today, to hear that your work can glorify God too. And actually, this reminds me of a real story that popped up into my head. I had a client come to me a few years ago, and she asked me to do a few jobs for her business, some design work. And the thing is, she only had a logo. That was it. There was no brand in place, no fonts, color codes, tone of voice. I asked her, "Do you have a brand guideline sheet?" And she's like, "No." So I had to work with just a logo. And I did bring it up gently with her that maybe it'd be good for us to look at putting a visual identity together. But she didn't want to. And to be honest, I think she really didn't understand why it was important. So it was a few rush jobs, and she just said, "Just pick a font, just whatever you feel fits, and 2 colors from my logo, just try and match them as close as you can." Anyway, so I carried on, but it ended up looking quite messy because it was messy, if I'm honest. Just on some of the social media adverts that I was running, I had to write in the content too, and it was very formal, very corporate. And it just wasn't her vibe. And I explained, "Look, I really think it's time to look at your branding more deeply." We got talking and became quite clear that her tone of voice was actually, she was fun and energetic. And, here we are putting out all these formal, polished posts that didn't reflect her at all, which her brand really needed to reflect who she is, right? And when we made that shift, everything changed. Now, I want to add, there is a difference between business branding and personal branding. And we'll go a little deeper into that in another episode. But in her case, she was the brand, and the design needed to reflect her. And this is for quite a lot of Christian women in ministries or other faith-led businesses. Your personal story matters, and people connect with you. So your brand should reflect who God created you to be, and not just what you sell. Seeing how God can use branding to glorify Him is honestly what gave me such a passion for creating visual identities for businesses. And you might be asking me, Chantal, what on earth is a visual identity? Yeah, branding, okay, but why are you saying the word visual identity? So we will go deeper into this in a future episode, where we can break down the difference between brand strategy, brand identity, visual identity, and all of those terms that designers use that generally our clients battle to understand. But just to touch on it today, your visual identity is how your brand looks and feels. So it's the colors, the fonts, the logos, the design, spacing, layouts, all the stuff that visually communicates your message. And that's not just making things look pretty. It's crafting something intentional that reflects the heart of your message and the people that you're called to reach. So, friend, should Christian businesses care about branding? Absolutely yes. Not to impress or to be flashy, but to serve well, to communicate clearly, and to reflect the God of order, clarity, and beauty. Friend, I really hope you enjoyed today's episode and it spoke to you and gave you some fresh clarity. If it did, I'd honestly love to hear from you. And don't forget, I've put together that free brand guideline questionnaire for you. You'll find the link in the show notes. It's going to help you sit with God, reflect, and get clear understanding, both spiritually and practically, on where your brand is heading next. All right, friends, I'll see you in the next episode. Remember, you've got this, and most importantly, God's got you.